Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Making It with Marcus and Mariana. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Mariana.
We're so excited to be here today. We have a very, very special guest.
We have none other than my really good friend, Emma Meek, who is an amazing tattoo artist who is only 23 years old. She has her career out here in Los Angeles and in San Francisco, which we'll get to dive a lot deeper into and how she got started. So thank you so much, Emma, for joining us.
Yeah, so happy to be here. So excited.
Emma, tell us, how did you, at 23 years old and only 3 years in, so she started at 20. How did you get started?
I think with anyone starting their business, it starts with being really interested in something. And I always like to draw, and it was COVID, and I realized you could buy a tattoo gun on Amazon. And I was like, that's super cool. And I just had a lot of friends who were really giving and gave me some of their skin, and I just stuck with it. Exactly.
You can't see it.
I stuck with it, and I think I don't know, I just really like to draw, and it just kind of went hand in hand with that.
I remember. There's throughout, I probably still have notebooks of my own that there's flip all the way to the back of the page and there's Emma's random drawing, and I'm like, I didn't do that. I couldn't do that if I tried. And so it's really always been a thing that you've been an artist. I feel like every friend group has
Totally
their person of their niche, and ours is you're an artist, and it really shows through. I have many of artworks from you, and Marcus did, and one big thing that we're here for is, to show off the tattoo that Emma gave to Marcus to kind of go hand in hand with this, to hone her skills, and something that Marcus is also really passionate about.
Yeah, Emma, I have 5 tattoos, and Emma's done 3 of them now. Actually, almost 4 of them. And they're all my favorite ones. I have one that is sentimental to my dog, but Emma's done the other 4, and they're so personal to me because I've known you for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple were in your garage, and it's
Yep.
that was a while ago, and I was you know what, I trust Emma, and I'm gonna give her some of my skin, just like you said, and let you show your art. I've always seen I've seen you draw for years and years, and I didn't expect anything less than greatness. I love my tattoos.
Yeah, and I think when I first started, I think with anything, you have to be kind of a schmoozer. You have to be kind of good at talking, and I don't know that much, but I have a little bit.
Yeah.
So
no, you got
I
me
think
convinced, that's for sure.
Yeah, I
Totally.
think I have a good bedside manner. I know how to make you feel really cared for and safe, and
But that's also
it's
really
a good
important
environment.
in tattooing.
Yeah, I think with any business you're in, you want to make the person you're working with feel I trust this person. I'm
And
in
with
good hands.
with tattooing, it's something that lasts forever, and
you want, part of it's the experience you get too. I think people remember that a lot. Everyone has their different way of doing it, but I definitely want to make that a good experience.
What's
for
one of your favorite experiences over the years? 3 years down the line, there's many more to go, but and it's funny because I've been there for some of I know some of my funny moments while sitting and watching you tattoo. But what's your favorite memory?
Yeah, there's a few. I think I've been given some weird things. I've been just weird interactions that you have with people. I think when you're one-on-one talking to people, same with anything, serving food or anything, you just are always surprised by the way people carry themselves in this world. But it's also funny because people are in pain, so that's also another side that you see.
Sitting through a long session, I imagine you have interesting conversations through the pain.
Yeah, I've seen people in they're in so much pain, they accidentally fart or something. It's just it's just those situations where you kind of let down all of your you just are you know what, this is me. I'm very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. And you probably were just nice, good.
You're just it's okay, baby. It's okay. You just keep going. You just kind of you just keep going. It's
for me specifically, my attention goes directly to the needle on my skin. So everything else kind of just does its own thing. So I can imagine maybe someone farting. Like, I've never done it, but
Yeah,
like,
you're
I can
just
imagine
relaxed.
that you're
People,
relaxed.
all kinds of things. People like open up about a lot of things. They tell a lot of stories. All kinds of things.
She
Yeah.
is patient client confidentiality. She can't give away too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to share it, and then they watch, and then they're like,
That's my story.
yeah.
Okay, so tell us, how did you, because I know you have friends up in San Francisco, but what is it like having 2 different locations? Because even as your friend, like, I see you're only here maybe like a few days, like 2 weeks. I'd say like 2 weeks a month. You're here, there.
It always varies.
Juggles.
It's, yeah.
What is that like, juggling 2 studios,
Um,
clientele?
I would just say the most annoying part of it is like being someone who has to like go back and forth. I think traveling for your work like sounds really fun, and it is super fun. I love it, but it's definitely a lot being on a plane all the time. But I am lucky it's only a 40-minute flight.
Yeah.
But I think it's like super fun. I love like having things to manage and structure, and I think that like I figured it out in my own way that works for me really well.
And you get like 2
yeah.
lives.
I get 2 different lives. Yeah, I'm Hannah Montana for sure. It's
Hannah
super
Montana
fun.
in
I
the
really
flesh.
am. Yeah, I have 2 different lives for
And
sure.
her blonde hair's in San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you notice anything like a pattern by chance, like from clients that you have here in LA versus clients you have in San Francisco for like the things that they ask for? Are there like certain styles by chance that like people vary with?
That's a good question. Yes and no. I mean, I feel like it's far, but not too far to where it's somewhat similar.
Sure.
But I would say LA is definitely more on the micro trend wave of like
Small
random, not even micro, but more like whatever's trendy, like they're
Sure,
on,
sure.
and
You said
kind
the
of like
aesthetic.
what's
The
the
aesthetic,
aesthetic,
yeah.
like what's new on the internet. It really depends where in LA too. There's just so many different niches and
Totally.
different styles that people like.
And I bet people that come to you, they already know what your style kind of is, and
Yeah, sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes people message you and they are like, "Can I get this like traditional sleeve?" And just things that like
Yeah.
clearly I don't do that. So
What is your style?
I usually kind of say like illustrated, kind of real. I don't know, fine line, weird freehand.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
cool
make
art.
sure we include your Instagram and all your ads so people can go and see, because I've seen it too many times. I'm
Yeah.
like, I could not imagine how that's even tattooed on someone, or how do you even think to come up with that or draw that. There's some things coming out of places, and I don't know, it looks 3D. Like,
illustrative is a good word, I would say,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I think it, because a lot of your tattoos that I've seen, like, have character, like very much so have character, and almost can see like action within the picture that you're drawing. It's pretty damn cool.
Thanks.
What's one of your favorite tattoos?
That I've done.
Yeah.
I hate all of them. I'm just kidding. I think that I really enjoy doing the stuff that I've been doing, like the freehand stuff where I just draw it onto people, because I think it just moves so nicely and will look good for forever, even if you're saggy and wrinkly. And
So when you say freehand, do you mean that it's like you have because like when you did Marcus's, you laid out like the sketch and everything on him, like you don't even do that, you just freehand it?
yeah, I just kind of like draw like a little bit of like a Sharpie, kind of getting the proportions right, and then just tattoo it on. So there's not really like this is
guide.
the before
Sure.
design. It's kind of like a trust the process moment.
Yeah, see, I hate that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
If anyone knows me well enough, I can't do that.
I'm scared to do that too.
No.
Well, I think that's like a big thing in tattoos now too, is like people want things that are just more like art.
Like
versus,
abstract.
Yeah, just things that they like to look at versus it having a deeper meaning to it. There's not a right way or a wrong way to do it, but
No,
I think
true.
that a lot of people just like want to look hot, if there's like not a better way to say it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Whatever their aesthetic is.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah, no, I can't do that. I have small, meaningful tattoos, and it'll probably stay that way. And Emma will always do them. I won't let her.
Do you have like a story or any specific tattoo that you could say like over time you had a, it was a really personal meaning, or you knew the person that was getting it, you were doing it for, they wanted to get it for a personal meaning? Anything that stuck out to you?
Like someone who got a tattoo and it was really significant to them.
Yeah, like someone got one for their mother that passed away, or something that where they were just like, oh, this just means so much to me.
Yeah, I just did a portrait recently of someone whose mom passed away, and that was like really cool to do because that's really personal.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was.
Does that ever intimidate you, knowing that like you have to replicate something like that?
I think when I first started, yeah, but I think now, no. Like I was just like really excited to do it, and I was like, "This is gonna look really good," and I made her mom look really good.
Oh,
her
that's
mom
awesome.
looked really hot. So who doesn't love that?
That's all you can ask.
Yeah.
Just make sure your mom looks hot.
Yeah, exactly. Hot moms.
Hot moms.
Yeah, it's funny because like I feel like I almost don't remember, but as soon as I like see a tattoo, I'll like remember doing it and the appointment instantly. But like someone's like, "Do you remember this person, so and so?" I'm like, "No idea."
Do you have a lot of repeat clients?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, I guess you're so young, but entering the tattoo community, what was that like at such a young age? Is it welcoming? Is it like you? Because I know also surrounding you have so many young tattoo artists. Mm-hmm. So what's that like?
I think during COVID, there was just like an explosion of people doing things at home. So, and also just with social media, you don't need to go to a shop and have like another person give you their clientele, which is how like a lot of people would get their clientele just in so many industries. Yeah. Now you can just post it on Instagram, and if you can go viral and like have no idea what you're doing. So it really does not matter. So I think now, and there's a lot of conflict in this. Like some people love it, some people hate it. But yeah, there's no rules really. You can just like post content and get into it. Yeah. And sometimes you'll do well because people like your work, and sometimes not. Kind of, it's like what you put into it is what you'll get out of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of all we talk about.
Yeah,
what you put into something is what you'll get out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I think that kind of works for everybody, honestly. And I think that's kind of, if you go through your day, go through your job, and your passion, whatever it may be, just like that, and I think you kind of have success in it.
Yeah. And I feel like it's difficult sometimes because sometimes you see people and you're like, oh, they're doing nothing, and they're just like doing so well.
Exactly.
Like, and it kind of like will sway you to maybe not, you're like, that's working. Like, especially with social media, there's a lot of pressure to do like what's trending and what works well. So I think, definitely. Yeah.
No, that's definitely a big factor because it's your own thing. And if you're true to it, people will follow you and your craft and not have to like follow the trends and not be yourself, because there's a lot of flaws in these trends.
For sure.
It's like not everybody can do that. Not everybody is made for those things. But you're able to hone in your skills. So that one thing, I mean, so many people during COVID came up with these things, but you left COVID with a profession. So, like, a lot of people, left COVID with crazy hair or gained a lot of weight. And it's like a lot of us, like, I remember we're sitting there and we're at the park or outside trying to get fresh air and just, coming up with these ideas and doing things. So I think someone like that, for you to have, like, that mindset at such a young age and to continue to go this route, like, what do you see next for yourself as a tattoo artist?
I mean, the goal is to always keep making art, just forever committed to just always trying to create things. I don't know, I feel like that's like what's so fun about being an artist, is like there's so many avenues I can go down and so many things that excite me. And I think I've always been a person who really likes to try out a lot and do a bunch of different things and be like, guess what, I'm doing this next week, like peace out.
You
so
very much
so I think works for me. Yeah, I mean, you know, I want to work in television, do clothing, do it all. Why not?
Let us know when you're ready.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We'll set you up with some wardrobe people.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I feel like it's one of those things that I'm also just watching what I can do kind of come out of me, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
And it's kind of one of those things where you just have to like live each day and like be in the process of it and like really do that work to then, because I feel like I have a lot of people I'm around all the time where I really see where all that work can take you to. So yeah, it's just like a lot of hours of putting in work, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you have to be super excited for it. Otherwise, you know, why are you in it? Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as it's, you know, fun for you, because it seems like you really enjoy it and you absolutely love tattooing. So it's like, you know, as long as it's still fun for you, it's not necessarily work and it's not going to be draining and kill you. Of course, it's going to be draining and tiring.
Yeah.
Same thing for us. But, you know, it makes it worth it to go in and do it every day.
I mean, I feel like that proves the love is like that it is incredibly draining and hard on the body and not even a 9 to 5. It's like a 9 to 11 type, you know.
You pick your schedule. You pick when you
it's like, it's all me. Like, what I put into it is what I get out of it. Like, there's no one, like, if I have a bad day, there's not someone who's, like, writing the email being like, sorry, our member was having, you know, it's like, it's all me. I'm like, I'm the front of it. I'm doing the social media. I'm doing all of it.
How do you manage all of that?
I think that... Who knows? Social media itself is like a mystery. You know, like, I don't know what I'm doing with that. I'm just like, I like how this looks. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what matters. You like it.
Yeah, you know, you got to be able to be bold. You know, you have to be like, you have to have some haters. Be like, you didn't do it right. But if you like it, like, that's all that matters.
Wait, what did Muhammad say the other night? We were at Ziad's house and Muhammad goes,
Oh, he said...
They hate us
because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us. And I was weak on the floor. We're sitting there having dinner, and Muhammad just stops us and goes, "They hate us because they ain't us."
Like anus?
No, hate us because they ain't us.
Oh, okay.
Because from like the interview, the movie.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, continue. But that's it. They hate us because they ain't us.
I miss that kid.
I know, he's so good.
Miss that man.
He also told us he
guy.
would come on the podcast. So just
He did. I know.
Yeah.
I honestly think he'd be an excellent guest.
He will be an excellent guest. Just
so would Ziad too. Maybe them together.
Well, they'll have to be together.
Definitely.
Or like a
duo
half episode,
podcast.
1 15 minutes the other, and then just see what happens. Yeah.
That'll come later, guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, but how do you manage it? I was talking about. You said, you said social media is its own.
How do I manage it? For me, okay, I feel like I have like simple things. One, I have to write everything down. Like, don't put your schedule in your phone. Like, physically write down what you need to do. Just physically write down everything. Make lists. Just do those things. Like, make it a physical thing in this world, I feel like. Like, your cell phone is just, I don't know. I feel like my work doesn't feel real when it's in my phone.
That's fair.
Or on a computer or something like that. Like, I feel like...
Because you're not always looking at it.
Yeah, and just even with you know, my work with a tattoo, like, it's a concept and then it becomes real when it's on someone and it's in the world and I can see it moving and writing things down. I think I don't know, I feel like it's like difficult being in charge of your own schedule and not having anyone hold you accountable. It's definitely a learning process. When I first started, I would start work at like 2 p.m. and go until 2 a.m. and go to the bar next door after. And I just like I just had no laws. There was like, it was.
But it wasn't sustainable to do a 2 to 2.
And you know what? I realized the more I got into it and the more I fell in love with tattooing, the more I was like, I want to be better for that. Like, I want to, and it got to the point where then I was like, I would take 2 hours on a tattoo and then I'd be like, let me take 4 hours and just see how that would look, and it just like, little things just to like make improvements, not because I'm making more money or anything, but because like I want to, which is like another big thing is like finding things in your work that like pushes you, like little things that you're like where you like are like I did that, you know, like,
No, yeah,
because you have to be a big fan of yourself.
It's the details.
I was gonna say, like, in even just the last tattoo you did on me, like, even at the end, you're just like, you know, I'm gonna add this or this, and I'm like, you know what, I trust you, because if you're feeling it, like, you're feeling like, oh, if I add that, like, I'm sure in your head, you're like, that's gonna be sick if I add that. So, yeah, of course, I trust you, and I think that your creativity definitely comes out when in those moments specifically.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, me and tattooing go really well together, is because I feel like I'm always doing what I would do on myself and always putting that extra care into it, rather than just being like, all right, that's what you want, like, here you go.
You're treating people the way you would want to be treated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, such a crazy job that I have.
It definitely
So fun.
is, yeah. My sister bought a tattoo gun like a couple of years ago. She didn't really get too far with it, but she enjoys the whole idea of tattooing. Actually, my sister's come to your shop a couple of times, I think. But yeah, she really loves it. And she looks up to you very much so, creative wise, because she's, as you know, an artist, and she's in art school right now. So yeah, I think it's very cool that you guys were able to kind of connect a little bit. Absolutely,
yeah. It's such a cool way for an artist to, oh my God, this is the best moment of my life. Stop! I'm so glad this is on camera.
Oh my God.
Can I pet you
this
too?
This is like the rarest sighting on planet Earth. Okay, she's...
Why couldn't you do that right next to me?
For all
I'm, like,
of you
about
that...
to cry.
I know,
she's crying too.
Because it never happens, and the fact that Monkey's the star right now.
Yes. For all of you that
okay,
don't know,
scratch this. This is now the Monkey Show.
Mauve,
I'm not here anymore.
Monkey.
Oh, that's all we got.
Yeah, she knew the second the camera started to go to her, she's like, "You're not gonna feed me?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's not about food right now.
She did a flip.
That was cute though.
She's
she
hilarious.
really did. Like, we got.
What were we talking about? I don't know.
I don't even know.
God.
She's like, I'm embarrassed. She's out. She's out.
That wasn't her good side.
She goes, what is that thing?
Probably
there we go.
Oh, there is something in the way. Yeah. That was too good. Okay, well, since we were talking about like the way he connected with his sister, do you find the more young like artists coming up to you and being like, hey, how are you doing this? Or like, what do you, like, how did you get where you are? Do you see other like young tattoo artists, and do you ever just be like, oh wow, like, you know, is there like a bigger community now for you? Do you see it? Are you able to connect with like young artists?
I mean, I'm still a young artist, but yeah, but totally, like,
yes, you're
I think
23, you're literally like a child.
But like young as in just starting.
Yeah, totally.
Because they could even be like, I don't know, like older than you and still just starting.
Yeah.
And just, like new as like an artist.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think
career.
I think that I have people, even random people, ask all the time, or people that I tattoo ask me questions and all that stuff. But I would say like so many people get into it, but it's really hard to stick with. Like it's something that like a lot of people will even do it for like a few months, but then kind of fall out of it because from the outside it seems really fun and glamorous, but then, you know, you kind of do it and you're like, I'm working 12-hour days. And, you know, I'm working a 12-hour day and making barely any, you know, there's times when like you're doing it because you love it, not for, you know,
totally
anything else. Exactly. And I also think like a lot of people, you know, they'll like art and stuff, but I feel like tattooing, like it's really important to kind of have, you don't have to have a specific style, but you do have to really enjoy drawing and creating, I would say, and like putting your own twist on things. And also there's a lot of pressure to like keep up with things and like constantly post content. So it's just like a lot of work. You have to like keep pushing yourself and keep doing it.
Stay committed.
You know, even me, I have to keep like posting things and keep doing things, because if I stop, then I won't get as nearly as much work as I like normally would.
You do need to keep posting on Instagram.
Yeah, but that's also a thing, is like you get really picky. You get to a point where you're like, it's not good enough. I want a certain level of quality. Like you'll look back at like things you posted, you know, and you're like, why would I ever post that? That's heinous.
Well, I know. I asked about the one tattoo, and you're like, yeah, that's off. And I was like, oh, I mean, I like that tattoo. But you're like, yeah, but that was like when I started, and I was like,
yeah, like that's
and I
like
that.
It's just, yeah, like you look back and it's like, I love it, and it's still a fantastic, gorgeous, amazing piece, but I want to show a new quality of detail that I can do now.
Showcase.
The next level.
Yeah, and I have the option to be very selective with my portfolio, so, yeah.
I mean, there's respect in that. I mean, I don't have even a portfolio like that to have. So even I've always been really proud of what you've been doing and just like watching you grow. And I mean, it's crazy. Like, we started raving and here we are. And like, you have this crazy, amazing career where you get to travel and do what you love. And, you know, you're building a community there and here. It's something that, I mean, a lot of people can look up to and just be like, wow, like, you know, if you're really passionate about something, follow it in that sense. And you're doing that. No matter the hours and hard work, and your hands probably hurt and like, but you're doing it.
Yeah, and it just like how it started was, it was just like a fun way for like me and my friends to hang out. Like we would just like smoke weed and like do tattoos, and like it was so fun. Like we would just all the time like, you know, hang out, and more friends would want it, and then all of a sudden I was like,
no, it literally
$15, you know, like I would just like throw it out there and be like toss me $20, like, you know, like.
And then she's like, all right, you want this one? Too much ink, $30. Come on. Who was it? Someone wanted like a blackout smiley face or something like that.
I don't even know.
Oh,
like, see,
God.
I can't even. I feel like I remember a few garage ones, but I've like since kind of blocked them out. I don't know.
Unless you've seen
It's like
them.
way back in the back of your
Yeah,
memory.
I've done so many tattoos now at this point.
I know.
I mean, 3
I
years
tattoo
down.
a lot. Yeah.
That's
impressive.
I'm just happy I was one of the firsts
I know.
on the bedroom floor.
I'm glad that we can. Yeah, that's even pre my time.
I got a bedroom floor tattoo. I trusted you.
Yeah, I remember tattooing Ziad, and I had him like hold my iPhone light as I was doing it, and I was like, "Hold it in the right spot, come on."
It was so dark too.
That's
and
awful.
And then, that was.
That's also a thing too. Is like
alcohol, paper towel wipes, just scraping.
Yeah, just completely unsanitary. No,
don't do that at home, guys.
Yeah, don't do that at home.
Unless your parents are great, but
Great.
yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, now I'm licensed. Everything's official. We're all good.
Emma's the real deal.
But definitely to start, you know, it was just kind of a trial and error. Same with
it?
a lot of art and things that you know, dance or whatever it is. You know, you don't know where to get it, because it was one of those things like no one in my family has a tattoo. It was like a world that was totally never explored for me. So
it was a light bulb spark and an
Yeah.
Amazon.
yeah, I used to get like a crazy adrenaline rush when I would tattoo.
That's
Like, I would always be like, because it's crazy, you know?
No, it
You're
is.
like, it's permanent.
But do you at
Yeah,
least remember
carving
the
into
first
someone's
tattoo
skin.
you did?
Yeah.
How did that, like, do you remember, like, the feeling of just, like, going into someone's skin for the first time? Or is that, like, way past?
It's like, you're not even like able to process that. You're not even like able to think the scientific thing, because you're kind of like you're just like, am I going to fuck it up? Like, you know, you're just.
And it's like, I
don't
feel
know.
like as soon as you start the tattoo, you can't like think otherwise or stop. Like, because it's.
I was also 20.
You're
Like,
in.
I just
Oh,
didn't
for sure.
have like, it took me a while to like process, like, if you get a tattoo from me, like you're still walking around with it. Like people would come back to me and I'd be like, that's still on? That's still there? Like, it just, you know, I think I was a late bloomer to like realizing like your actions will, like, follow you in life sometimes, you know?
Okay, well,
like,
that actually gives a good question. Has there ever been a tattoo you've, like, had to turn down?
let me think for a second.
Because you've got some crazy ones.
Yeah, I've done some crazy ones. But also some crazy ones I've been like, I'll give you a really big discount. You know, because I just like want to do it.
Of course.
If you ever have a crazy tattoo.
Yeah, like the crazier the better. Give me some weird freak shit, and I'll give it to you for the low.
With the ink gun.
With the ink gun only.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Yeah, I don't.
One time I like was tattooing this. I'm like worried that they're gonna see it, but I also don't care. But they're gonna like know it's them. But I was tattooing these siblings, and I tattooed 2 of the siblings. Super cool designs. I was super stoked on it. And then the last brother was like getting ready to go, and he was just like very classic Instagram abs, like, you know, I don't
Insta
know.
boy.
Insta boy.
There you go.
And you know, like, we have this cool design. It's like this astronaut little boy with like a butterfly in his helmet. It's like so sick. It's like actually really cool. Like a Norman Rockwell painting or something. And he's like, I'm just gonna like smoke up real quick. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Because, you know, it's like, he's an adult. He's allowed to do what he wants before his tattoo. If
Sure.
you know, like, do your thing. As long as you're like on the table, okay. And he comes back in. He's like, actually, I think we should do like a castle with octopus tentacles. And I was like, what? I was literally like, no way. Like, no. And me and him are arguing because he's like, why don't you give me what I want? And I was like, you're stoned as hell. Like, no.
You're under the influence, I can't.
Yeah, like, I just, like, it was ridiculous. And then we just debated for so long. We ended up going with a vase.
Interesting.
A beautiful vase. But
I'm glad it was.
So wait, did the siblings get the same tattoo?
no,
Like they got matching?
No, they all got different things.
Okay.
One
I
of
thought he
them
was like not trying to get the matching with his brother. His
Yeah,
siblings
that would
after.
be so funny. No, he had
he's
these
the
really
last
cool
one to go
designs,
second.
and like he just went outside and smoked, and like it was so funny. Like he came in and he was
He
like
had the highest thought
he
ever.
was like, scratch that, cat or fucking castle with octopus tentacles. I was just like,
No.
ugh.
Once you sober
Yeah.
up, you're gonna hate that.
He's
hate
gonna
that
come back
idea.
to me and be like, can you cover this up with what we talked about?
I just like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was a nightmare.
That's
That
so
was a
funny.
nightmare.
No, can't do that.
It's one of those things too, like when they're already there and like you're set up. It's just like,
How you gonna
you know,
change it?
what can I do? Like, I don't know. It's difficult when people can be really
The
indecisive.
client should always be right, but when you're under the influence,
Yeah, like, you know, if
Guys
he
in back.
came in there, like, sound of mind and was like, I'm really passionate about sea creatures and underwater architecture. This is a tattoo for me. I would have done it.
Different
but
story.
This was different. He was high out of his mind. I wasn't going to do that.
okay, that is
Yeah,
funny.
I can't really think of like too many. I know that they're in there. Like, I know one of my friends would be like, oh, what about that story? What about this story?
I have one in my head, but I don't want to call someone out.
I know which one you're talking about. In
Yeah.
the garage? Where he pulls down his pants?
Oh, not that one.
Oh, which one?
No, one of our friends had asked you to give him a tattoo, and you told him no, and he got it done anyways. And it's on his face, and it says like,
Oh.
Oh
It says-
my
Yeah.
god.
like,
It's actually the worst tattoo of all time. And if he sees this, I'm sorry, but you know it is.
yeah, it is. And I've always said when he attends my wedding, he's getting makeup.
See,
put on
like,
his
I
face, and
thought
he
that was
knows.
not real. It's still on there?
Oh, that thing's real.
Yeah, it's still there because I'll never forget the day I found out.
Does it
So-
you can still read it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, I love you so much, but I will tell like bad tattoo stories. He got a tattoo on his face that just says something about being depressed, and it's not something about being. The word depressed is on there with other things around it, so it's written here. And he had asked you to do it, and you had been like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then I got a call from our other friend, and he's like, what's the stupidest thing so-and-so could do? I was like, get a girl pregnant. He's like, what's the second stupidest thing you could do? And I was like, I don't know, show me his face. And I was like, nah, take that off. Like, that's
it. That's the worst.
Real. That's not real. It's not real. Like, that's gotta go. And it's still there. We saw him the other day. It's very much so real.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I mean, I have all the love in my heart for him still. Some people tattoos aren't made for everybody to make choices
Yeah.
in life. Like, your body, your choice.
That's why you should like, you know, what do you call it, your flash pages that you make, or the flash, like with all your little different
flash sheets.
Yeah, your flash sheets. That's why people should be choosing off a flash sheet instead of
Yeah.
for
You don't
themselves.
know. Yeah, if you're drunk
If
and
you
you
don't
know,
know-
get a flash sheet.
I mean, I think that's another thing is like, I think there's definitely some artists, like, I think if anyone ever came to me and asked for that tattoo specifically, like, I would always say no.
Yeah.
there's some tattoos where I've just like had people come to me and I'm just like, I just won't do that for you. Like I'm kind of like, I'm bummed on the guy that did that. Like that's like, I don't know why you would even do that to someone.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if someone really like, I don't know, because he didn't really want that tattoo, you know, like he was like wrecked out of his mind versus like there's some people where it's like, you know, I can't say anything about the design that they want,
but sometimes like as the artist, you're there to enhance them, not continue to like.
Exactly. Like I just like me personally, I wouldn't do that because I don't want him walking around being like, oh yeah, Emma did that. Like I'm not putting my name on that.
No, I get that. I totally get that.
That's, you know, even in, I guess, a selfish way, being like, that's not something I'm going to attach to myself. Your brand
like,
also. Yeah, it's my brand. It's like, I care about that. So that's, again, just putting in the, like, some, like, even if it's not my style or aesthetic, it's like, I'm putting the, like, making it as good as I possibly can and as aesthetic to my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's been times when I've come into you. I mean, my cross tattoo. I came in and I was like, I want a simple cross. I showed you what I wanted. You're like, we could do better. What are you talking about? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, we could? Like, okay, cool. And we sat there and we went through and we found all the, and then she like took a little bit of this one and like did that, added her white little highlight in the end, and it was like,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I love the white highlights.
I was expecting to go in and get a little cross, just this and that, and I ended up with like this really amazing tattoo that I was like, oh, cool. And that was a part of the experience too, is like working with the artist to make, and I think that's one of the greatest things about you being in, like, not that people aren't really an artist beforehand, but there's people who pick up tattooing that have never drawn before and they just trace. So you who have had a long history of just this, I don't know, crazy artistry, to go in and draw whatever the fuck you can. And then I'm like, okay, I want this with that. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you can just replicate that onto a sketch. And then there it is. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a part of the experience, is being able to work with you personally to say, I want this crazy thing. Can you make that happen? And you're able to make that happen. Because, I mean, that's crazy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Basically, I have a superpower.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like you can just see the design like in your head.
Yeah.
As like we're telling you about it. Like I think even for my last one, I was like, honestly, I'm just gonna throw these words at her, and like I feel like she's gonna know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that's like a perfect example of like, there's definitely times when people like throw a lot of things together, and they're like, and sometimes you're like, like a Star Wars character like with a fireball coming at them on the beach, like in a rowboat, like might look a little crazy, but like if that's really what you want, maybe we can like try and ease it into something that like looks nice and like aesthetic to the eye. Yeah, and I think that's like another thing that I was gonna say, like it's just like how I learn and how I see the world. So I think it's just something that works for me. I think you should kind of go with your instincts and how you see the world and how you process information is like how you're meant to throw your addition into the world. Yeah.
Totally. I think even just like kind of how I am as a person, I'm like detail oriented. We're both Virgos, so it's like, you know, I think that it fits perfectly in my job and my career. What I do is so kind of detail oriented and stuff, and you know the way your brain works is very creative and, like you say, illustrative, so it's like it almost fits perfectly into what your passion is, and you know it just kind of comes out and shows throughout every person, I think, what their actual passion is. And even more so what we've talked about in earlier episodes was, you know, figuring out what it is that is your passion and, you know, striving for it. Kind of just think about yourself and like the things that you naturally do on a day-to-day basis. What is that? And kind of grab that and put it towards what could be a career. Your drawing, your creativeness, you grasped it and, you know, made something out of it.
Hey there, marvelous movers and shakers, tuning in to Making It with Marcus and Mariana. Are you ready to be a badass in a career that brings you pleasure? I'm Madison, dear friends of your new favorite podcast hosts and friendly neighborhood pleasure positive podcast host. And holy F, I've got something mind-blowing for you. Brace yourselves because your career is about to get a pleasure-filled upgrade. If you're ready to level up your career game and reconnect with your inner badass, you're in for a treat. Picture this, a 21-day self-worth reset course designed to unleash your inherent power, brought to you by the Pleasure Positive Podcast. We've curated the best exercises and pleasure practices for self-worth from over 300 episodes of our top-rated sexuality podcast. And trust me, this is a game changer. Every day, you'll have access to guided audio prompts, journal prompts, custom meditations, basically all the secret sauce that has turned our Pleasure Positive Podcast into a must-listen phenomenon. But wait, there's more. Dive into our private Facebook group. It's like the Hogwarts of self-love, full of support and connection to empower you through the 21 days. Now here's the kicker. This transformative journey is normally valued at $37, but it's on the house for you extraordinary listeners of Making It with Mar. Yeah, you heard it right, free. So if you're ready to treat yourself like the VIP you are, reclaim your essence and kickstart an extraordinary career, sprint over to pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar to snatch up your free gift. Your self-worth is like a rare gem. Precious, undeniable, and definitely worth flaunting. Don't wait. Take the first steps towards the career of your dreams. Visit pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar now and let the magic begin. Disclaimer, this offer is as wild as a unicorn ride with limited time and quirky conditions. Check the website for all the delightful details. Once again, that's pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar. pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar.
When we decided that we wanted to have Emma come onto our podcast, I had a crazy idea. Let's just get a tattoo leading up to it. And, I had no idea or where I wanted to have it. And so I just decided, let's just make it something similar to our podcast where it's career-based and, all about my passion. So it's actually a water tower from Paramount Studios. It's replicated of it. And instead of the Paramount logo on it, it has the NFL logo. And I think that it's just really important to me because it, shows the start of my career to where I'm at now, from working on Paramount Studios to, working at the NFL.
Emma, thank you so much for coming this week. I'm glad we caught you because, you do work in San Francisco and you work in LA, so we only get a short amount of time with her. But I will make sure that you guys can find her on social media, on Instagram. I think you have TikTok, right? All the ads. We'll make sure you get all of her ads, how you can contact her. But please hit her up for any creative, crazy tattoo you guys have in mind. She is the girl for it. Trust me. Trust us. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode of Making It with Marcus and Mariana. I'm Mariana.
I'm Marcus.
Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to do the hard stuff like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much, Emma.
Yay! Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.